the show you can't ignore. Wayne and Kevin diving deep into all things galore. Comic book, movie, sci-fi, and action thrill. Reviewing new TV shows, we keep it real. Reminiscing the attitude era, wrestling at its peak. Nostalgia from the 80s and 90s, memories we seek. Pineapples for our rings, a unique touch. Geek culture in our blood, we love it so much. Geek Blue forever, we love it so much. Geek Blue, where we talk about it all, from superheroes to wrestlers. We stand tall, Ray and Kevin, the dynamic duo in sight. Geek Blue, shining bright, shining bright. Did you hear about Pluto? That's messed up, right? Geek Blue, taking you on a nostalgia flight. From movies to TV, we cover it all. Join us and every week we'll have a ball. Shuffle.
Hey,
What's happening? How we doing?
not much. In a new year, welcome to 2025, people.
Is your hair getting
Yeah,
long
what?
or what? Got to shave.
It is getting long. I need to shave everything.
TMI.
We're gonna break down the whole entire slate for 2025 in a little bit, but first
Yes,
we're
we
gonna talk
are.
about what we watched this week. We had a finale. Shrinking ended this week. Last week. We didn't talk about the episode before, but not much to talk about the penultimate episode, but the finale happened. I mean, pretty much what I've been saying all season happened. Jason Segel's character ended up meeting up with Brett Goldstein's character, and in weird circumstances. If you haven't seen the show, I kind of don't want to spoil it, but I do. But let's just say they met, and next season, chances are Jason Segel's psychiatrist character, or whatever he is going to probably take on the Brett Goldstein's character as a patient.
Yes, that's what it seems like it's going for.
Yeah,
and I can't wait. I love the show. When my sister was here for Christmas, she asked if I had watched it, and I was like, "I'm the one that fucking recommended it to you." So yeah, we talked about it. They absolutely love it. Because they were
awesome.
watching Ted Lasso when I was down there in March, and I recommended this show immediately, and they like this show more than Ted Lasso. And honestly, I like it way more than Ted Lasso. Lasso was great, but Lasso was also this is very similar to Lasso. I just like the characters a little bit more, even though Lasso has some great characters. This is more serious, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
both
there's
great
a lot.
shows.
There's a lot to it. Yeah. But both shows have great ensemble cast too.
Incredible.
And this season had Brett Goldstein, and of course Brett Goldstein's the lead, like the best part of Ted Lasso. So, episode 5 and 6 of Skeleton Crew. I've been saying it all the time. I hate calling the show The Goonies, Star Wars, The Goonies in space, but that's exactly what it is. However, what are your thoughts on the show? We're 6 episodes in now. What are your thoughts on the show so far? You feeling Star Wars? You feeling out of it?
I mean, this is probably, honestly, since Disney took over, the one thing George Lucas would probably watch and
approve.
Yeah. Because a lot of people forget, we saw the original trilogy when we were younger. A lot of people forget that Star Wars literally is for kids. So, when you're an adult and you're watching, say, the prequels, like we were basically adults when we watched the prequels, they don't hit like you are if you're 10 years old. Same with the sequel trilogy. If you're 10 watching that versus 30 watching that because you grew up on the prequels, you think the prequels are great. I mean, Star Wars is for kids. So a lot of that plays into it. I really like this show a lot. I'm one episode behind, but I have enjoyed every episode I've watched.
Yeah, Jude Law has been great in this.
Oh yeah.
He's a great actor. Great fitting into this role. We're really not sure. I mean, he's a pirate of some sort. We're not sure if he has Jedi powers or if he's manipulating with mechanics, the Force. We have no idea what's going on at this point. But, setting up a good couple episodes left of that. Creature Commandos, episode 5 and 6. Episode 5 was all about Frankenstein's origin. And we also meet Clayface, which has been in the trailer since the very beginning. The Batman villain from the animated series, way back past that, before that. But this is the first time he's been in live action for me, because I haven't seen any of the new stuff. I know he's been in a few things since then, but since the 90s, since I watched animated series, this is the first time I've seen Clayface on screen. So it's really cool. And of course, we know that in James Gunn's DCU that there will be a movie. Mike Flanagan, who did all the, we talked about him back in Halloween, who did all of the Dr. Sleep, and he did all those Netflix horror house movies, is going in to direct a Clayface movie. Not sure, is that in the DCU proper, Elseworlds? What is the
DCU
rumors
proper.
on that?
DCU
Okay.
proper.
So chances are a continuation of what happened in this season. So.
Yeah.
Episode 6 came out a couple days ago, yesterday, and it's Dr. Phosphorus' origin, which is a character, one of my favorite characters in this show.
Yep.
Is, if you look at the poster there, he's a glowing guy, skeleton with
I'm
the...
blanking on the guy's name, but he's a real son of a bitch. The guy that turns him into Dr. Phosphorus. He's a Batman guy.
He's a
Oh my
Batman
God.
villain, yeah.
He's a real son of a bitch in this episode. That's
Speaking
fucking
of Batman, spoilers, we got our
Yeah.
first glimpse at the DCU Batman, and it looks like
did.
Ben Affleck.
It does. A lot of people are saying that. This is such a silhouette, though. I mean, people were like,
Yes, it's not much to it.
There's going to be trunks in it. And then they're like, oh, our first look at Batman. But technically, our first look was in the Nightmare episode a few weeks back.
Yeah.
To me, to all of that, I say, he's Batman. He has more than one suit. So it's long ears and the Pattinson cowl, and the next one, it's the Batflick look.
The great thing about it...
That was awesome.
The great thing about it is it shows his power in this universe too, because Dr. Phosphorus in this episode is shown to be an invincible foe. Who can take him down?
And then
Motherfucking
Batman.
Batman.
And then Batman shows up, and it's like, nope.
Yep. So I'm excited. We got finale next week. It's going to be the origin of Nina. I believe the princess is involved in that origin too. By the looks of the trailer that came out. James Gunn did go on there talking about the Batman suit, saying that when they first showed him the Batman suit, it was fully fledged, and then he wasn't ready to commit to that, so he did, like you mentioned, put it into a silhouette. I did want to mention that too.
Yep.
Also, while we were gone, it was renewed for a season 2. James Gunn actually went on Twitter and posted a Twitter with a Weasel with a Santa hat, Happy Holidays. But yes, there's going to be a season 2 of that. So yeah, they're doing the seasonal run of these shows, which is great.
I wonder if Weasel dies next episode. I could see him dying because the princess looks very much like the girl in his flashback episode.
Yes.
And also the whole nobody's going to play 2 characters type thing.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah, because technically he should have already been dead from Suicide Squad. So yeah, I could
that's
see
the
that
best
happen.
Weasel pops up at the end.
Yes. Where are we at? Dexter. We are 4 episodes behind on the podcast. We're going to talk about them briefly. Episodes 2 through 5.
Well, you were. I talked briefly about them last time we were on.
Right. We're gonna talk about them in full now. Episode 2, we see Kid Dexter flashbacks. The 90s soundtrack of this show is what I'm attracted to the most. Including the guy who plays Dexter, who's a Scottish actor, has all the mannerisms, has the voice down for Michael C. Hall completely.
Yep.
Like brings you right
I told
into
you
the
too
character.
those 2 episodes you didn't get to last week. His mannerisms when he's talking to her friends are just so Michael C. Hall. It's unfucking believable.
Yep. Episode 3, LaGuardia debuts, played by Christina Milian. And the reference of him going in with a fake ID with Patrick Bateman as his name.
Yep.
Patrick Bateman, of course, you know, from American Psycho. Christian Bale, that character.
That was an alias he used in the first book.
Yes.
And I believe he used it later on in like Dexter season 6 or 7, I want to say, at one point. But I can't.
A lot of parallels. A lot of parallels between the characters, of course. So, and episode 4, Dexter's reaction to a child's death. When Dexter sees a kid dead on the pavement, he kind of has a break. He kind of breaks down a little bit. And Joey Pants Joey Pantalone, whatever his name is, who's been in Sopranos, who's been in The Matrix, been a whole bunch of stuff. He had a cameo in this episode. Ends up getting killed, not by Dexter, kind of by Dexter, was going to get killed by Dexter. Ran away from Dexter because Dexter is still new to this. Didn't have him tied down right, didn't knock him out correctly, so he ran away and got run over by a car.
That was pretty good, yeah.
And episode 5 picked that up where Dexter is well, the biggest part of this episode is he eats 6 pot brownies and he's high off his ass.
Yep.
But him and Deb have this kind of sibling moment that they don't usually have because Dexter's inhibitions all went away when he was high off his ass. He had nothing running through his mind anymore. So
yes,
they had a closer connection together.
Basically, what they're telling us is weed will save people from serial killers.
Yes.
That was awesome. He was like, I just wanted a snack. And she was like, one of those is going to make you high. Like, you ate 6? I was just rewatching the episode and we were waiting to get on here because I was charging my everything.
And while we were gone, another thing that was announced, Dexter prequel for the Trinity Killer. Starring John Lithgow as the inner voice of his younger self from the Trinity episode, this Trinity season, which is, of course, everybody knows it's amazing.
And I didn't want to scroll the notes because I like to go in fresh, but James Remar also on for Resurrection.
It's in the notes.
Figured, we'll be talking about that, but yeah, that was cool.
We'll talk about it. Yep. That's awesome, and we kind of figured Batista will be there. We've been hoping that everybody's coming back, so
I can't wait.
Seems like all the arrows are pointing there.
Even get Quinn back, even though he has a low T cell count.
Ooh, he looks bad. If you follow him on Instagram, he looks like he's a skeleton. He looks like Jack Skeleton.
He's shrinking constantly.
Yeah. He posts weird pictures. Like, he's in New York City, I believe. And he posts pictures on his Instagram of him, like, going by mirrors and going by dumpsters with the reflections or puddles. It just shows him in the reflection of the puddle. He's a weird guy. What if Season 3, the series, ended in a whimper? The show on paper, I always love the concept of what if. It's
on paper,
like
it's great. In execution, it's been terrible. On paper, like, the amount of things you could do with this concept are unbelievable, and they go with the worst concepts they could do, as far as I'm concerned.
But it's also, I think they're trying to be light with it because they don't want to go too deep into the lore. I mean, they could easily have done a Wolverine. Like, the end of this episode, I'll talk about it a little bit now before we get into the whole breakdown, but the end of the series, they show a whole breakdown of a whole bunch of different characters. In fact, I think I have them here. There's Dexter. There's a post for What If. Number 1, these are all the characters. This is the characters at the end I'm going to talk about in a minute, but I want to bring this up first. These are all characters that were debuted in the final moments of What If. Variants of Thanos Wolverine. Like, why didn't we have a Thanos Wolverine episode? It's just
wasn't Storm in this season?
Shang-Chi Iron Man. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. There's a Shang-Chi Iron Man. Like, why didn't we have that? But yeah, I'm gonna break this down here. Episode 1, Mecha Avengers. They're basically Power Rangers Zords versus a Godzilla Hulk. And there was a slow-mo Lou Ferrigno sound effect from the 80s that was in this episode. It was really cool. Episode 2, Agatha meets Kingo in the 1950s Hollywood. And she's trying to suck off a Celestial. And she's trying to get all the Celestial's power. That's the one that's underneath Earth that we found in Internals. That's why I put it there. Red Guardian stops Bucky from killing Tony Stark's parents. And Lawrence Fishburne's Goliath cameos. When was it? Ant-Man and the Wasp. Lawrence Fishburne was in that movie, and he used to have tech to be a giant man. And in the comic books, his name is Goliath. In this episode, he actually debuted in the suit and everything. Episode 4. Darcy and Howard the Duck have a baby. And the whole entire
this episode.
The whole entire episode, they're chasing an egg. They have an egg, and they're chasing it throughout the galaxy because the egg is has so much power to it that the collector, everybody wants this egg, and all the villains. There's a whole bunch of villains from the MCU past come in to try to chase down this egg, and by the end, the egg gets hatched. Agent Coulson makes a cameo in this. The song I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss is played throughout the whole entire half hour of this episode. Weird fucking episode. However, it did debut a new character, which we're going to get into in a minute, named Birdie, the daughter of Darcy and Howard the Duck. Episode 5, Riri Williams fights an Iron Federation at the end of time. After a celestial emergence destroys Earth, the one that was in Earth actually gets birthed, destroys the whole entire planet, and it's an outlaw apocalyptic world afterwards. All led by Quentin Beck. We actually have a Spider-Man character as the main villain of this episode. Of course, Quentin Beck is Mysterio. And White Vision comes back in this too as kind of the working for Quentin Beck, or Quentin Beck controls White Vision. And the Watcher interferes to save Riri Williams' life, but he's being watched by the others in his race, other Watchers, and that's where this episode leaves off. Bringing us into episode 6, 1872 Cowboy Avengers, pretty much. And at the end of the episode, the Watcher is captured for meddling in multiverse affairs. He's struggling the whole time, but he's just overpowered by these 3 other Watchers. And we get into episode 7 and 8, which is the finale of this series. And as the Watcher is held for meddling with the multiverse, Captain Carter assembles a team. The comic book, they're called the Exiles. They're called the Exiles here too, because they're variants of the multiverse they're brought in to be exiles. There's like in the comic book, there's like an animated Wolverine. There's a whole bunch of different ones. In this one, it's the Native American superhero that debuted in season 2, Kawari, and now adult Birdie the Duck, who has superpowers, and Storm from X-Men 97. As Goddess of Thunder, she has Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. And of course, Captain Carter is leading the team. There's a whole bunch of cameos on the foosball. There's a little foosball table they show in this episode. And you see, for the first time in the MCU, Beta Ray Bill, Galactus, Fantastic Four, and a few other X-Men characters too. So they're kind of bringing it in a little by little. And like I mentioned, I think Feige did not want to give the full reins to this series. Then we get into the finale. And we actually find out the Watcher's name is Uatu. If you know the comic books, that's been his name for ages. The exact quote he says, "I'm not no one, I am a Uatu," because all the other Watchers are trying to take him down, and he overpowers them, and this new team overpowers them, and they become Watchers. Very strange, weird ending to this series. But the greatest part about it, on the right of the pictures there, is Kirby Crackle. When they're depicting the space battle, they actually show a bunch of Kirby Crackle, which hasn't really been done in the MCU, and that's what Jack Kirby did for back in the 70s, 60s, to show space, to show cosmic powers. He did this weird bubble technique with the black, the yellow, and the red, which was really cool in the episode. I thought it played out well. Overall, I'm glad it's over. I think they went too far. I wish, like you mentioned, I wish
that on the poster.
I wish that we saw more of this. I wish we saw Hulk, Doctor Strange. I wish we saw Iron Man, Punisher. Like, there's this stuff that we didn't see. They didn't go that deep into it. There's a Ghost Rider fucking flaming up with a horse. It looks, I can't even tell. It may be Black Knight actually, which hasn't really even debuted in the MCU yet. But overall, animation style is good, but they should have went a little bit further with it. Season 2 of Squid Game. I liked it. I just watched season 1 not too long ago, so it's fresh on my mind. A couple weeks ago, actually, and I liked the ensemble of the cast. I watch it dubbed because I don't want to read anything.
Yeah.
I know a lot of anime fans are very much against that, or Japanese fans or whatever. Are very much against not reading the subtitles, but I can't do it. My favorite character of the season is Thanos, who's the guy on the right. He is I believe a Korean pop star who got into trouble for marijuana. He spent 10 months in prison for it because they have outlandish laws over there for marijuana. And he was pretty much ostracized from the business over there. But the guy that did Squid Game hired him to be this character, and I think he was a standout star. Besides the lead, who was Saul in Star Wars. Yep. I think this guy is a standout. Did you end up watching the whole series?
I have one episode left.
Okay.
As soon as though I agree, he's by far like one of the best casts characters.
Yeah,
like
I think
him a
so
lot.
too.
He's awesome.
But we saw Russian roulette in this.
Yep.
Taking the games from the inside. Saul, which you know, goes into the game again. I don't even really know what his name is in the show because they're all foreign names. But he goes into the games to try to infiltrate and try to take down the one who's and take down the games and try to take it in from the inside. The player and there's a player rebellion, which I think you've seen. And the post-credits tease, because there is going to be a third season, because this ended up on a quick cliffhanger. The post-credit scene is this poster right here. 2 dolls. Of course, if you know red light, green light from the show, there are 2 dolls with the red light, green light set up for the next game. And this comes out sometime in 2025. I believe it leaked that it's coming out at the end of June. June 27th, I think I saw. Nothing official, though, but... yeah, good show. I'm glad I watched it a couple weeks ago. I'm glad I'm caught up on it, so I cannot wait to see the... I'm guessing it's the final part of this story. I know they're going to go American. I've heard that. James Mangold, there's a big director.
Fincher, right? Wasn't it Fincher?
Fincher, yes. I couldn't remember who it was. I knew it was a big director, but... Yeah, somebody's coming in and they're going to do an American version of Squid Game. So, yeah, continuing the story. Huge for Netflix. Huge property for them, so that's cool. Let's get into the movies, what we watched while we were gone. This movie we were holding off for a year. The Holdovers.
Well, you have been. I watched it last year, and I fucking love this movie with all my heart.
Well, it looks, feels, and most importantly, sounds like a 1970s drama, right down to the cinematography.
Yep.
It's not a full widescreen movie. It is a letterbox or not a letterbox. What do they call that? It's a full screen
4:3?
kind of, but there's 4:3, but I think it's a little bit wider than 4:3.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just looks like it was made in the 70s, and but what the fuck is his name?
Paul Giamatti?
Paul Giamatti, holy shit. He is just built for this movie as far as an old-time actor.
This movie is definitely written for him. Like, he is just...
Divine.
He is incredible.
Divine, which I think is her name, is the lady that runs the cafeteria.
Yep.
She's in Only Murders in the Building. She plays the police officer in that show. Yep. She's amazing in that. She's amazing in this, too. I believe she won an Oscar for this, or she was nominated for one.
I think she won.
I think she won.
Best Supporting Actress.
Very good movie. Also,
oh my god, incredible.
There's two things I wanted to bring up. The scene where there's the one kid that's in the poster right there that they have to have a holdover between Christmas and New Year's. He dislocates his shoulder, and it looks like he must have a dislocated shoulder in real life or something, because they pop it into place. It looked like it was off of his fucking arm. Like, it looked like it was hanging. And that was so painful to watch. And the other thing I want to bring up is Candlepin Bowling, which is a New England thing. We don't think of it because we've been around it our whole entire life, but I don't think I've ever seen it in a movie before until this movie, where I actually saw the Candlepin, which is 10-pin bowling. I think it's 10-pin bowling with little balls, but a very good movie. I'm excited we watched it this year.
It's the perfect post-Christmas movie. Like, it's great to watch between Christmas and New Year's, because that's mainly when it takes place. Like, a lot of it does take place up until Christmas, but it ends like January 2nd or 3rd.
When they go back to school.
Perfect post-Christmas movie to me, because it's a Christmas movie, but it doesn't have like the feels like you get from a lot of Christmas movies. But I love this movie with everything I have. It felt more
to me like a period piece, like a set. Like you felt like you were in the 70s watching.
Yes, 100%.
Probably my favorite, not my favorite, probably one of my top 10 movies of the year. Surprise hit for me was Carry On. And a lot of people are mixed on it, but I thought it was really good.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Down to the cast.
Did not like the end, but whatever. Everything until the last 15 minutes I loved. And also, the one thing I did like is they showed us, it's not like a post-credit scene, but it's like after all the action's over, and he's going on vacation with his friend.
Yeah,
he got like
the baby.
That to me was awesome.
It's all about this kid who works at the airport doing security, played by Taron Gillen.
Been there a few months, or no, a few years.
Yeah, and he's been there for a few years. He's not getting any raises or any promotions.
And he has no ambition.
He's
either.
stuck.
That's the thing.
Right,
Like,
he has no
he's not
ambition.
getting raises, but he has no ambition at the same time, so they won't give him a raise. His boss, of course, is played by Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad.
Yep. Dean Norris is in this. Theo Rossi is in this too, who we've been talking about lately. He's in Penguin.
Sons of
And
Anarchy.
Jason Bateman, who does an incredible fucking job in this show. He's
Yeah.
a villain. And this is, I hate comparing movies to other movies, but this is Die Hard in an airport.
Yeah,
This is exactly what it is.
Well, I mean, Die Hard in Airport is Die Hard 2.
It's
though.
Die Hard 2, yes. But this is,
But that's
this is a little bit
basically
different.
What
But
I've
yeah.
been telling people is that this
Yeah.
is like, if you want to see a throwback like 90s Die Hard like movie, watch Carry On. You'll
is
have a
amazing,
good time.
yeah.
You'll have a fun
very
time.
good.
Solid
Very good
4.
movies.
It's just very
Yep. Yeah,
very
4
well
for me
done. There's
too.
a bunch of twists. And also it's one of those like what we do in this type of situation. So
Right.
obviously neither of us are here. We're like this is even more than like Die Hard. Like, what would you do in this type of situation? Like, he's literally just somebody that couldn't like go further in life. He's kind of stuck in this TSA job, and then
Yep.
this shit happens, and it's like, do you risk 250 people on the plane or the woman you love just carrying your child?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked
thought she was
everything
great
about this
too.
movie, except the ending's a little bit outlandish. But then again, you watch a movie like
Convoluted.
this.
Yeah.
And you watch a movie like this, and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just have fun.
Yeah.
Throw in some popcorn, grab a soda, have fun with it.
Also-
it's the perfect Netflix movie,
Yeah, also, it's on Netflix. So if you
Yeah.
have Netflix, you can watch it for free.
and it's
Or
not behind a
part of your
paywall like
subscription.
some fucking movie I'm going to talk about in a minute.
We'll talk about that at the end. Heretic. Another movie you got me to watch. I think you watched it a few weeks ago, and I said, well, wait, we'll talk
Yes.
about it when I watch it.
Yep.
This came out about the middle of the year. We started getting hearing the buzz about it with
Came
Hugh,
out like
Hugh Grant.
September, August, so
Yeah,
towards the end
yeah.
of the year. Yeah.
We started hearing about Hugh Grant's performance in it. Topher Grace had a cameo in this too, but mostly
Yes.
the movie is run through for Hugh Grant, which we've talked about him before. Hadn't been around up until Wonka, and he was huge in the '90s. He did all those movies, all those romantic comedies, Four Weddings and a Funeral. I think Notting Hill was him too. But the movie is all about faith, divine intervention, religious ideology, history repeating itself, belief versus disbelief. Are we living in a simulation was one aspect of this as well. And fear leading to control. Fear of the church, fear of religion, leading to them controlling.
Yep.
I don't want to give away the big like spoilers and I really think
no.
people should watch this movie.
It's a great movie. He's incredible.
Very good movie up to his performance. He does a great Jar Jar Binks impression about a half hour in.
Yeah.
So it's good. If you want to see it, it's streaming now. We were supposed to go to the movies while we were gone. We did not. But I did watch a movie you watched a year ago.
2
The
years ago,
Voyage of
whenever
the
it came out.
Demeter.
Yes.
Yeah, The Voyage of the Demeter.
And I did go to the
which
movies, and I
is-
will talk about that in a minute, but yes, go on.
Yes, yeah, we're going to talk about that. The movie, that reason why I wanted to watch this.
Yes.
Corey Hawkins, who
Oh
was
my God,
Dr.
Dr.
Dre
Dre.
in the Straight Outta Compton movie, and of course he was in The Heights as well. Leon Cunningham, who was in Game of Thrones after season 2 on. And David Dastmalchian, who I love. I mean, in everything I've ever seen him in,
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
and he's great in this too.
Yep.
All about, it's based off an excerpt of the
It's-
Captain's Log chapter from Bram
Yes.
Stoker's
It's
Bram
one chapter
Stoker's
in
Dracula.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yep.
One chapter.
Yep. And it's the tale of Dracula's travel from Transylvania to England, all while terrorizing the crew of this ship, the Demeter, and terrorizing and destroying the ship and so on and so forth. The writer of this movie took interest in a miniature of the Demeter that they used in the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola Dracula movie, and began writing an alien-inspired film set aboard a ship, and that's what this ended up being. I'm not sure the exact excerpt from the book. I'm not sure if it was a whole full-size, full-fledged chapter or what it was, but
It was, from what I've heard.
okay.
I don't read.
yeah, I don't either. I listen, but this is a very good horror movie on a ship. I believe the cast of this was superb too. And
Kind of leaves it open for a sequel, if I
spoiler.
remember correctly.
the sequel's Dracula, but
Yeah, well, yeah. But I mean, they could do more of these. but
right.
Yeah.
Well, and also the review that you want to talk about, you're going to give your reactions to it because I have not seen it yet. But
Yes.
it's a movie I'm very excited for, Nosferatu. You did see it in the theater,
So-
and the cast looks amazing. I was high on it, but Robert Eggers, you've warned me before in the past, hit or miss. I've been hearing overall fairly well things about it. So what are your initial reactions leaving the theater yesterday or this week?
Well, Robert Eggers, to me, like you said, it's kind of all of his movies are so well filmed. Like
Right.
you can't give any of them like a bad score because they're just so well made, so well filmed, well written.
Yeah.
Everything about them are great. Casting's always on point. Lily Rose Depp in this,
Yes.
fucking phenomenal. Absolutely owns the screen. I was talking to a friend about this because like she really hasn't had great performances. And we were joking like she was in of course she got a start in Yoga Hosers. 'cause
Yoga
she's
Hosers.
Kevin Smith's
Friends.
daughter's like best friend.
Yeah.
And to me the charm of Kevin Smith's movies is the fact that nobody really acts well in them. And that's kind of part of the charm. But she is fucking outstanding in this movie.
Awesome.
Skarsgård, fucking outstanding.
Okay. That's what I was hoping.
I really have nothing. It's so weird because, like, it's also not one of my favorite Dracula stories to begin with.
Yeah.
But it's so well done. Like, the entire time, I was just like, I don't know if I want to watch this again or if I just want to watch it again to watch it in 4K when it comes out on disc.
Right.
But the performances are very good. Nicholas Hoult is okay. Aaron Taylor Johnson is okay. But that's only because
Willem
Lily
Dafoe.
Rose Depp is so much above them, acting wise. Like she acts circles around every single person in this movie, and that's what surprised me the most, outside of maybe Skarsgård.
What about
that
Willem
dude-
Dafoe? I mean, he's always the
William
best part
Dafoe's
of
great.
most
He's not
movies.
in a lot of it. He's
Okay.
not in a ton of it. He comes in end of the second act, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, they do have, unlike Bram Stoker's Dracula, of course, with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves, they actually do have a small 5-minute last voyage of the Demeter scene, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, it's just a retelling of that story again, basically. It's a story is literally as old as time. Like it's one of
Right.
the first movies ever made. Jimmy Carter, who just passed, was alive for every single theatrical release of this series,
Yep.
which is fucking insane. But yeah, I mean, it's a story as old as time. Like you know it
Yep.
going in.
Yep.
Very well done. Robert Eggers absolutely kills it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I can't wait to watch it on 4K when they get the disc.
Yeah.
I think you should be excited. It's good. It's not really scary. There is some jump scares if you're in the theater,
Okay.
which is cool to go to like a full theater for the first time in fucking years because it was a sold out show. I got the last ticket, which is why I couldn't go see the Timothée Chalamet movie because
Right.
that was also sold out every showing this week pretty much, unless I wanted to sit like in the worst seat possible.
Right.
Which mostly was the front row, and I fucking slept wrong, and my neck's all fucked up this week. So
That'll be on digital before we know it because it did not do well in the box office.
it's doing
We'll be
okay
talking about it
considering
soon.
what it is, but it's
Right.
not. Neither one. I mean, they're both R-rated movies.
Yeah.
Neither one is killing it at the box office. They're doing pretty good because of the Christmas push. I do want to see what the numbers look like after this week, because like I said, every showing I tried to get to was pretty much sold out. But yeah, I do recommend this movie. We'll give it a proper score when you see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's Robert Eggers. His movies are fucking filmed to perfection.
Yeah. It'll look great.
It's exactly.
And you had 4 movies that I want to see. Most of these I want to see. I've heard of.
Okay.
I don't have the last one, Kneecap. But
I
knew
literally
you
just
were
added
gonna
that 2 seconds ago because
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
But I've heard of all of these, of course.
Yep.
And Juror number 2 is getting a lot of hype because it's Clint Eastwood. But
Yep.
yeah, give us a little breakdown of what you watched during
All right.
the Christmas break.
I'll go in order from left to right of what's on the screen, and I'll start with Kneecap.
Okay.
One of my most disappointing movies of the year.
Okay.
It's about a hip hop group from Ireland, and they play themselves in the movie and kind of how they got their start, and it's just very okay. Of course, I was pissed. I told you because I heard it was on Netflix. I went to go watch it on Netflix, and you can only watch it on Netflix if you have the fucking 4K $21 a month plan.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the like? That's the first movie I've seen, so it must be some sort of rights issue, maybe because it's a foreign film. It's over in Ireland. I have no idea.
What it is basically with Netflix is, if their original stuff, that Netflix original, you can watch for $6.99 a month.
Right.
Everything licensed is kind of it goes by whatever it is. All the movies, any movie that's from another studio, chances are it's locked. But most of the original stuff, there's also some older shows that are on there. I don't really know what's on there. Dexter, I think, is watchable, but there's stuff that's locked, and that's why you couldn't watch Kneecap.
Okay.
Because we'll talk about it at the end. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so Anora instantly went on my top 10. I'm going to be doing my top 10 the week before the Oscars. I'll be doing that the week before the Oscars because there's a ton of stuff that isn't available yet.
That's all I've been hearing, by the way, how great this movie is.
The thing about Anora, I got to watch it on a proper
4K
proper release. And this is because I acquired the movie. And a lot of the movies in Russian, like a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there were supposed to be subtitles because she can understand Russian, she just can't speak it. But at the same time, I don't know if it was done that for the audience who can't speak Russian. So I want to know if the Russian's actually supposed to be subtitled or not. Because at the same time, I also was not lost for a single second of the movie. Because even when they're speaking in Russian, you kind of know what's going on. It's the weirdest fucking thing. Like
you should put it. You should have put it on the Plex. You should have put it on the Plex because you could have downloaded the subtitles.
See, it came with subtitles downloaded. I was watching on my computer and just didn't feel like
it. Yeah.
I'll get it to you though, so we can.
I do want to watch it before the Oscars. You're right.
Incredible, but it's basically about this low-level hooker. Not even she's a hooker, stripper hooker. Who this young Russian guy who comes off as really rich and fancy, basically is like, let me rent you for like a week. You can be my girlfriend. I got friends coming in. I want to look whatever fucking cool for them. So they basically just fuck for an entire week.
Okay.
Then basically he's just like, let's get married. And they're living in this, like, she's staying at his place. It's this gorgeous, mansion. She's never seen anything like it. So she's like, okay. Then the second they get married, his family finds out about it and sends basically the goon squad to get her to annul the marriage. They'll pay her off with like 10 grand or whatever it is.
That sounds awesome.
She thinks she's going to get millions. It goes from there.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Is fucking fantastic. I'll get it to you so you can watch it.
Awesome.
Highly recommend this. 4.5. I have about 21 movies I'm going to whittle down to my top 10 of the year, and this is definitely on there. And it's probably going to finish up being on the top 10. Next, I'll go to The Order, which I thought was just going to be like a bank heist movie. I heard it compared to basically Heat, but like a lesser, like a Temu version of Heat. And it is that for a lot of it. You got, is it Jude Law? I think it is.
Yep. Jude Law.
And Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Holt's the bad guy. Jude Law's the cop. They kind of do the Heat thing where they're interacting, but not at the same time. Like he's chasing him, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually Nicholas Hoult works for the KKK. And overall, it's pretty damn good. It's not great. Solid 3.5. I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. Glad I saw it. Juror number 2. It's fucking awesome. It's on HBO now. I do recommend you see it. It's my type of thing, though. It's a courtroom drama. And basically, you find out the twist. So I'm not going to say anything about it. I did not see a single preview, so I have no idea if they gave away the twist in the preview. I heard they might have.
I haven't either.
But watch this without seeing a single preview.
Okay.
15 to 17 minutes in, you get the twist. It's another thing of what the hell would you do in this situation?
Okay.
It's kind of fucked up in that way. Being someone who has, at some point, maybe had a little bit too much to drink and then drives home type deal, when you don't think about it. In my past, of course, I don't do that anymore. But it gives you a lot to think about that way. And then we have The Piano Lesson, directed by Denzel Washington's son, question mark, starring his other son, John David Washington, and of course Cyborg from the Snyder films. All I heard
Samuel
is
L.
about
Jackson.
and Samuel L. Jackson's in it. All I heard though was about Cyborg, whatever his name is,
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher. All I've heard about is like his Oscar buzz for this movie, and now none of that's available. Like nobody's talking about it now. That was like 6 months ago. This is on Netflix.
Okay.
It bored the shit out of me. It's
Okay.
a period piece. It's definitely artsy. I could see why there was some buzz for it, but I don't think he's going to win anything. He kind of acts like he does in the Rebel movie, where like this is a stage play that they took and made a movie out of, and he's kind of
I heard
acting the
that.
entire time like it's a stage play still.
Okay.
The performances very solid. It's just not my cup of tea.
Okay.
I would recommend this to like my parents' friends. Like that's who I would recommend this to. It's that type of movie where you have a bunch of old people that don't know what to watch. It's on Netflix. Throw it on. I was a little disappointed, but it is what it is. I mean, it was free on Netflix, so
Yeah.
eh.
Okay. No loss. So, that's everything we watched while we're gone.
Yes.
2025, brand new year, brand new set of movies, brand new set of video
And
games. We're going to start off with that.
Before you continue, real quick, you used to have in the notes something about what we got for Christmas. Can I just show
We'll
you
do
this?
that next week because you can show what you got, but we're going to do gifts. Well, that looks awesome.
We are going to do gifts. We didn't get to see each other this week.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show that the new Superman shirt. So
Awesome.
getting ready for 2025, right?
Yeah, we'll do our Christmas unload next
Hopefully,
week. Or
because
gifts
we're
for
going to
each
go see
other.
the Timothy Chalamet movie Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah,
hopefully.
sometime. Yeah,
We'll fit
sometime
that in.
this week. But we're start off with the video games for 2025 coming out. Brand new multiplayer game, kind of set like Call of Duty, whatever Warfare, whatever that one is where you play multiplayer. Called Dune Awakening. Have you seen the trailers for this?
No.
It looks awesome. It's going to be on. It's going to be on.
Or is it like third person?
I believe it's kind of the way it looks like Fortnite. It looks like you're kind of in that world like that.
Third person.
Yeah, third person kind of. Yeah. It looks really good, and you're fighting around all the worms and stuff on Dune, so it looks cool.
Nice.
On Arrakis. Mafia: The Old Country, another mafia in the series set in Sicily, way back, and then you're gonna be a mafioso over in the Old Country. Games I know you loved when you were younger, coming out as Xbox exclusive, Fable and Perfect Dark, coming out with both remakes for that. This game has a lot of hype. An open world Terminator Survivors, set after the John Connor and the Resistance and everything.
Hopefully it's good. Every time they drop a Terminator
horror
game, I'm disappointed.
Right.
So-
This one has a lot of hype too. They always do. Disney and Fortnite are going to have some sort of a crossover epic game coming out this year, next year. I wanted to bring that up. But the one thing that I'm excited for as far as games, we'll get into the one thing we're both excited for, but we're both excited for this too. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is going to be coming out for PS5 sometime this year. And we both want to play it, but it's an Xbox exclusive at the moment.
Hopefully they add a third person mode.
Right.
Because it goes, have you seen it? It's first person. But like when you
Yeah.
say you use a whip to swing, it goes into third person. And apparently
Okay.
somebody found a glitch and they were playing for like 2 hours on third person mode only.
Oh, wow.
Just walking around as indie. So a lot of people think that maybe in the coding there is a third person mode that will be available once the PS5 version is available.
Right.
But I really do want to play this game. It's a canon game for the Indiana Jones movies, so definitely looking forward to that.
But the one game that we're both excited for that's probably going to be the best game in the next 10 years, the top-selling game in the next 10 years is going to be GTA 6. A game that took 10 years to make a sequel to, projected to make $3 billion in its first year. $1 billion in just pre-orders alone is what they're projecting.
Do you understand
It's huge.
that obviously we're going to talk about it soon, but there's obviously a Superman movie. I don't know if people have heard about that yet this year. And the
We're
last
not
time we
gonna talk
got
about Superman. Are you crazy?
the last time we got a GTA game was a month after Man of Steel came out.
Right. Yeah.
That's fucking
So-
insane.
Yeah, and this is next gen consoles.
Yep.
It's been a huge graphic upload since then, or upgrade since then. So we're very excited about that. Marvel games still on the horizon. This Wolverine game that's been rumored, or we know it's coming out. We've seen trailers for it. We've seen leaked videos of it. There's a Wolverine game coming out from the same makers who did Spider-Man.
Yes.
Open
Insomniac.
world Wolverine Insomniac.
It's going to be a
also.
hard R.
Yes,
That's what
it
they
is. Blade coming out with an Xbox exclusive, a Blade game. Captain America: Black Panther: Rise of Hydra, set in 1942 or 1943. That's coming out. And possibly this year we'll get more news on Venom and Spider-Man 3, which is rumored to be the finale of this trilogy of video games, which is huge for the PlayStation. Also rumored this year, pretty much we know what's happening, is there's going to be a new Switch 2. And they're going to have a new Mario launch title, possibly 3D. In the second year, possibly Mario Kart X, Mario Kart 10. But yeah, we've seen the leaks, we've seen the design mock-ups of this.
I hope they're backwards compatible with the other Switch.
The games are backwards compatible from
Okay,
everything
good.
that they've announced.
Good.
So new
It'll
dock
probably-
that's gonna
The Switch itself will
Yeah.
be an improved dock, improved screen, stuff
Yep.
like that. And
Magnetic.
hopefully run the same games.
the controllers are gonna be magnetic instead of having that weird slide-in thing that
That's
I
good.
always
I've
thought I
been
was gonna
broken
break
since
them.
the first day.
Right. Yeah,
Like my
I always
left
thought I
one
was going
slides
to.
out at random.
Yep. Yeah, very, very poor design, so it'd be interesting to see. So let's jump into the movies of the year. Tons of movies. We've been talking about it all year, how excited we are for 2025, and there's a reason for it. There's a lot of movies. Starting in January, not a lot this month, but they are going to be starting the Pooniverse again with another character,
Please don't.
Peter Pan in Neverland Nightmare, coming out in just a couple of weeks. We'll talk more about Pooniverse in a little bit, but Back in Action, a movie starring Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz, where Jamie Foxx had his big health scare, coming out on the 17th on Netflix. Also on the 17th, Wolfman, which we've seen the trailer for, looks very, very good.
I can't wait.
Another IP property that's going to get a horror series of multiple different movies from different studios, by the way. Screamboat, the Steamboat Willie horror movie, coming out on the 24th of this month. And the 30th of this month, Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon, I believe this is on Prime, a movie called You're Cordially Invited. It's a comedy, comes out at the end of this month. February, we talked about last year, so many great documentaries in 2024. This one I'm excited for, Becoming Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin. Coming out on the 5th in theaters, probably streaming not too long after that. Kiyu Kwan, we love, Data and Goonies, who's in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Love Hurts, comes out on the 7th. An action movie set on the kind of like Nobody and all those other action movies where a guy's out of place. He's not really, doesn't look like he would be an action star, but he is. But it looks really good in the trailer. And Stephen King and James Wan are coming together for a horror movie called The Monkey, coming out on the 21st. Don't know much about it. I've heard hype. I've seen the poster for it. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. March, we've got Mickey 17. This is supposed to come out in April. It switched date with Sinners. We'll talk about that in a minute. But March, Mickey 17, starring Robert Pattinson, comes out on the 7th. The Electric State, directed by the Russo brothers, starring Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, coming out on the 14th on, I believe, Netflix. Novocaine, starring Jack Quaid, coming out on the 14th. Disney's live-action Snow White, coming out on the 21st. Alto Nights, it's a mob drama, starring Robert De Niro, coming out on the 21st. And CinemaCon, at the end of March going into April. We'll always get big, huge reveals for the rest of the year and the years to come. So looking forward to that. Starting in April 4th, we got Minecraft with Jack Black and with Jason Momoa. Like I mentioned before, Sinners switched places with Mickey 17. That's coming out on the 18th of April now. Until Dawn, based off the video game, it's an adaptation coming out on the 25th of April. And Ben Affleck coming back for The Accountant and The Accountant 2 coming out at the end of the month on the 25th.
That should be good.
Accountant 1, great movie. So
Very good movie,
excited
yeah.
for that. In May, Final Destination Bloodlines on the 16th. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 2, which I believe is called Final Reckoning now, coming out on the 23rd. Live action Lilo and Stitch coming out on the 23rd, which I have never seen the animated version of that, so I'm going to watch that around that same time. And Karate Kids Legends, which we've been talking about a little bit here and there, coming out on the 30th of May. In June, sequel to John Wick, spin-off to John Wick Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas, coming out on the 6th. How to Train Your Dragon live action I'm excited for, comes out on the 13th. Another franchise that I got to get into before the 20th of June, 28 years later. I'm going to get into the 2 movies before that. There's going to be a sequel coming out the next year. We'll talk about that next year. Megan 2.0, I was high on the first one. Sequel to that comes out on the 27th. And Brad Pitt has a movie coming out in June as well on the 27th called F1, about F1 racing. Then we get into July. We're getting into July 4th weekend. Jurassic World Rebirth on the 2nd. Starring Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala. And on July 4th, the same weekend, Kendrick Lamar, Matt Stone, and Trey Parker have this musical they've been working on where the lead character is a reenactor of a slave who finds out that his girlfriend her family owns slaves. She must be a white woman. And everybody says it's one of the funniest scripts that's been around in Hollywood in the last 10 years. So I'm very excited for that hype. Another franchise I got to get into. I Know What You Did Last Summer, the remake or sequel kind of. It's coming out on the 18th of July. Another Smurf movies. I don't know why I put this on there. I wasn't into Smurfs that much, but there's another one coming out on the 18th. I think I put it on there to say that it was running up against I Know What You Did that last summer. And San Diego Comic-Con coming out on the weekend of Fantastic Four, which we'll get into in a minute, but 23rd and the 27th. On August 1st, Liam Neeson in The Naked Gun. I don't know why Liam Neeson. I mean, Liam Neeson has some funny moments in certain dramas when they give him the reins. But
if he does what he did in Ted 2, it's gonna be all right.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
That one scene in Ted 2 will be fine. I think he has comedic chops. So.
Pamela Anderson is in this. Pamela Anderson is in this. A few other actors, and cameos, of course. Leonardo DiCaprio has a new crime drama coming out on the 8th called The Battle of Bacton Cross. Don't know anything about it. Freakier Fridays coming out on the 8th. Big Disney movie. Nobody 2. Very excited for that on the 15th. Bob Odenkirk. Yes. The Insidious franchise. The reason I put that on, are the Insidious movies any good? Should I watch them if I like The Conjuring?
At least
have you watched? Okay.
They're okay.
There's a spin-off of that coming out on the 29th of August called Thread, an Insidious Tale. And the next week, on September 5th, The Conjuring Last Rites, the final Conjuring movie, comes out. We'll be watching that. And the end of the month, Saw on the 26th, Saw 11. Another movie I'm kind of excited for Christian Bale comes out the end of September as well on the 26th, The Bride. Directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, I believe is the monster, and I believe Christian Bale, or vice versa, Christian Bale the monster.
I think it's vice versa. I think Christian Bale plays the monster.
And Jake is Doctor, okay.
Yes.
Another movie, probably one of my most anticipated movies this year, coming out on October 3rd, is the Michael Jackson docupic. Very excited for that. The Jafar Jackson, I believe his name, is playing. He's a nephew of Michael. Very excited. I love Michael Jackson music. Another series I gotta watch. I've seen the first Tron movie, but I gotta watch the second one, Tron Legacy, I believe. Tron Ares comes out on the 10th of October. Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen have a comedy coming out on the 17th called Good Fortune. Another one on my highly anticipated list, Mortal Kombat 2, because I love the first one so much. And they're bringing in Carl Urban to play Johnny Cage. Yep. So cannot wait. It comes out on the 24th of October. Another movie I cannot wait for, November 7th, Predator Badlands. Very excited for that. Now You See Me 3 on the 14th. Probably my most anticipated movie of the year for me, Wicked for Good. I just saw Wicked Part 1 again. Came out on digital last week. It comes out on the 21st of November. And The Running Man with Glenn Powell, the remake, coming out on the 21st of November during Thanksgiving week. Then we get into December. Not a huge December. We got Avatar, Fire and Ash. I guess that's pretty huge if you love those movies. On the 19th. And Jack Black and Paul Rudd are starring in the Anaconda, which is a weird kind of... It's based off the Anaconda movie from the 90s, but they're trying to recreate it. It comes out on the 25th. To be announced. Has not been announced. We know they're coming out this year. Spinal Tap 2 coming out sometime this summer. Death of a Unicorn. Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega. I saw the trailer one of the last movies we saw. Warfare. We just talked about that last episode. Popeye the Slayer Man. And then all of the Pooniverse movies. You got Bambi the Reckoning, Pinocchio Unstrung, and Pooniverse Monsters Assembled. Probably coming out in 2026,
What are
but
we
it's all
doing
where
here?
it's leading to.
Yes.
Another Frankenstein movie, which I'm excited for, directed by Guillermo del Toro,
Why-
Oscar Isaac,
Why
Maya
do they always
Goth.
do two of the same type of movies?
They always do.
Like it's Dante's
The
Peak.
studio's
Volcano.
fighting.
Like there's
It's
always
studio, right.
Yeah,
The studio's fighting
it's
with each
weird.
other over IP. Another movie we never talk about that often, but Thanksgiving 2 is coming out next year in November.
Yes.
We love the first one, so cannot wait for that. The trailer came out. I believe I have it in the notes, but Happy Gilmore 2. Mm-hmm. I'm so hyped for that movie. It
Me
comes out
too.
on Netflix. Wake Up Dead Man. I know you're hyped for this.
Yes. I
Comes
was
out
hoping-
November, December, kind
Last
of.
time we did our preview and there was a Knives Out sequel and we just completely forgot to put it on the list. So I'm
Right,
glad you remember
yeah.
this time.
Yep.
But yeah, I can't wait.
Yep. And Chad Powers. This is the weird Glenn Powell, I believe it's Hulu original comedy, where he's got this weird like prosthetic face and nose
boy's
and,
getting
and-
work.
and facial. He's getting a lot of work. Then we get into TV. We don't have a lot of release dates. TV is not like movies where you found out a release date a year later. But you got the winter, you got Invincible season 2. I know you're huge into Invincible. It comes out February 6th.
Season 3.
Season 3, yeah, sorry. Cobra Kai, the final event, final part of that season is February 13th. I'm excited for SNL 50th anniversary special. It comes out on the 16th
That should be cool.
of February. Dark Side of the Ring returns on the 25th of March for the 6th
Let's
season.
fucking go.
And Seth Rogen has a new show called The Studio coming out on March 26th. This spring, we got The Bear season 4. We got Gen V season 2. They just started filming the last season of The Boys, I believe, while we're gone. And in the summer, Squid Game season 3 is coming back. Alien Earth, which I'm excited for, and Dexter Resurrection, which we're both excited
Oh my
for.
god.
All the rest of these do not have dates, but we know they're coming out this year. All of them we want to see. It Welcome to Derry coming out on HBO. Game of Thrones: A Night in the Seven Kingdoms. We both want to see that. Duncan Egg, right? The Last of Us season 2. The Papers, The Office spinoff, sometime probably in the fall, I'm guessing. We got Ted season 2. We got the Sandman season 2. I loved Sandman. I loved Wednesday season 2, and the final season of Stranger Things. All amazing shows we cannot wait to watch. And then we get into the comic book part of the whole year. I broke this up specifically because that's where our bread and butter are. Marvel TV, coming out the end of this month. You got on January 29th, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. The animation looks good. Going to talk about the trailer in a little bit. Live action, we got Daredevil coming back, Born Again, on March 4th. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Ironheart, coming out on June 24th. Animated series Eyes of Wakanda, coming out on August 6th. Marvel Zombies, coming out on October 3rd. And Wonder Man, the live-action show, coming out in December. We know that they've filmed Spider-Man Noir for Sony, coming out on Amazon Prime. We're not sure when that's coming out. Could be this year, could be the beginning of next year. We also know that X-Men 97 Season 2 has already been done. It was done before Bo DeMeo, whatever his name was fired. So we know that's coming out. We're not sure, probably next year as well. Then we got Marvel movies. We got Captain America Brave New World coming out on February 14th, just a month from now. We've got Thunderbolts with an asterisk coming out on May 2nd. And Fantastic Four First Steps coming out on July 25th. And of course, the other Sony blemish is Beyond the Spider-Verse. Still no date. Supposed to come out last March. We hear casting rumors, we hear directing rumors, we hear all this shit happening with this movie, but the movie's not out yet. So we don't know. Haven't seen a trailer. We haven't seen nothing about it. So
typical Sony,
including a date.
Even when they have something wrong, they fuck shit up.
Right,
and even when they have something right,
their,
they fuck shit up. This is their money.
Besides what they do with Marvel Studios, this is their money maker. This is their franchise that they have 100% control over. And then with the Fantastic Four coming out on July 25th. We're going to be doing a road to the Fantastic Four. We're going to talk all about Roger Corman's Fantastic Four from 1994, but specifically holding off on watching this movie till this year, so we can break it down.
Give me the strength.
Then we're going to talk about the ones that came out. Josh Trank, I think Josh Trank. That's the one that came out in 2016.
Yep, Trank.
I can't remember the guy who did the original ones. Tim Story, is that the guy's name?
Was it Tim Story?
Right? I don't know. Fantastic Four that came and Fantastic
the Chris
Four.
Evans four movies.
Yeah, and the Rise of Silver Surfer came out in 2005, 2007, and then the Fantastic Four stick that came out in 2015. That's the Josh Trank Fantastic Four.
Yes.
We're gonna talk all about those, and then we get into DC, which we're both excited for. We got a new slate coming out. We got Peacemaker season 2 coming out on August 10th. Hopefully we'll get more slate reveals. We'll get the Batman, the Clayface, maybe even a Penguin Season 2 reveal. But most importantly, on July 11th, we've got motherfucking Superman, which we're both highly, highly hyped for. I think the world is highly hyped for.
I was thinking about this before the show. This might be my most anticipated movie of all time. Because a lot of stuff coming together as far as... This is the first Superman movie that's been released since I became a fan of the character.
Right, yeah, you're right.
I've been reading a lot of Superman the last year.
You have been.
Plan to be reading
We're going to be
more
reading,
going into this year.
reading more.
Yep. I haven't blown my Superman reading load, though, which is good. I still have plenty that I look forward to reading. A few of my friends are getting ahead of the movie. They're already out of stuff to read going into July. So, but yeah, this might be my most anticipated movie of all time.
And
up
the reason
there was probably The Force Awakens, which even probably wasn't on this level because it was like I'd seen Star Wars before. Like I'd seen like this has a lot of stuff going for it. Like 1, it's Superman. I'm now a fan of the characters. 2, 3, it's James Gunn. We've never seen James Gunn do this type of movie before. It's just all sorts of anxiety I have, plus like hope going into this movie. If that makes sense.
Superman makes hope. Hope makes sense as Superman. So, but that brings us to my most anticipated part of the year. The first half of this year, we're going to make everyone sick of this podcast because every other week we're going to tackle an aspect of this character of Superman. First of all, let's slide through these slides because I did not do a good job with the slides today. There's some of the TV shows that we talked about. Hey, there's all the Fantastic Four we just talked about. And there's the legacy of Superman that we're about to talk about. The year of Superman, which we coined this maybe a year ago when I had this in the notes. Motherfuckers are using it all over Twitter now. The year of Superman. Coined it right here on this podcast. Max Fleischer's 1941 serial cartoons. George Reeves' series, The Adventures of Superman. Hollywoodland, which I never saw with Ben Affleck, where he plays George Reeves, the making of that show and the mystery that went around his death. Superman 2, the Donner Cut, we're going to compare those two. Superman 3, Superman 4, Blemishes, Superboy series. I don't know if you've ever seen the Superboy series.
I've seen episodes, yeah.
Okay, the Bizarro episode is one of the first things I remember of Superman in my life, so we're going to watch that. Death and Return of Superman, the phenomenon of the 90s. We're going to discuss that. We're going to read the series as well. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, retrospective. One of my favorite Superman things. I don't think you've watched much of it. If you have, maybe a couple episodes. 5
episodes.
5. I love the show.
It's very.
Superman Returns.
It does not age well.
It does not.
It's very mid to early 90s sitcom-ish, but not really.
Yes.
I mean, growing up, I always thought it was a show for women because, like, all like my female cousins all watched it and stuff like that. Cause Terry Hatcher, but it's pretty good.
Superman Returns. We've got the kind of the sequel to the Donner movies, the first 2 Donner movies, with Bryan Singer coming in, Brandon Routh coming in as a new Superman. It came out like 2006, I think,
Yep,
2005.
2006.
There's a documentary that came out on that DVD called Up, Up and Away. We need to watch that for the podcast.
Yes.
We're
Produced
going
by
to talk
Robert
all
Meyer
about.
Burnett.
Yes, we are going to talk all about Smallville, the longest running Superman thing series,
Superhero
11
thing,
season,
I believe.
superhero thing. Also, James Gunn related, Brightburn. I have not watched it. I've been holding off on this
You've never
watch
seen
as well.
Brightburn? Ooh.
We're going to watch Brightburn
like
too
Brightburn.
for this watch, because that's James Gunn's depiction of what if Superman became bad.
Well, technically, it's
kind
his
of.
brother's depiction. He just produced it, but yeah.
Right. Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman. We're going to go through that slog again. Justice League versus the Snyder Cut comparison. I have not watched those two movies in a comparison aspect.
I did. I will not be rewatching Justice League, but I will gladly rewatch the Snyder Cut.
Okay.
It's
we'll talk-
fun, but it's a lot, and I still have all my notes from comparing them, so I'll be good to go.
And we'll talk all about Superman and Lois, because by then I'm going to watch that whole series. Do you want to bring up some of the comic books that we're going to be reading? I know Kingdom Come is the huge one.
I know
That's the one I'm
Kingdom
very
Come will
excited
be the last
for.
one.
Yeah. All-Star.
All-Star and
All
for all
seasons.
seasons.
Yep.
And This Beauty, the Luthor one. I want
Luthor,
to read that.
yep.
It's a quick read. But besides that, I'm pretty open to reading anything.
I think I want to do the Death of Superman. I mentioned it before.
Yeah, we're gonna do
I think
the Death of Superman.
is
I have
important.
not read that. That's what I've been saving for this.
Okay.
Because it was so important to you.
Spoiler
so that's why I've
alert!
not read it.
Spoiler alert! I wish I had it right here. One of your Christmas gifts. I told you how important that comic book was to me. It's my first comic book. I bought you that comic book for Christmas.
Okay.
The same
That's
exact
perfect,
one.
because I do not
It's
own
a
it.
graphic novel. It's a graphic novel of Death of Superman. So it's the same exact one. It's bagged and boarded. I'll give it to you this week, and we'll talk about it.
That works
sometime
for
in the
me.
next 6 months.
Looking forward to it.
Podcast goals for this year, watches. Because of Daredevil coming out, I think it's about time I probably watch the Netflix Marvel shows, because we have a sequel to that coming out on
You need to watch
Disney
Daredevil.
Plus.
Yeah.
I need to watch Daredevil.
That's the main one.
I also need to finish Saul, Better Call Saul. That's the goal for this year.
Yep.
Maybe new shows I may get into. I may get into Reacher, The Witcher. I've been wanting to watch that forever.
I was
During
thinking,
Halloween,
I was thinking real quick. You could probably 4 seasons. You could probably rip through the 4 seasons of Superman and Lois before July if you wanted, depending
Yeah,
on
I'm
what's on
going
your
to.
plate. Okay,
Yeah,
that
that's
was just
what I'm
one
into.
that okay.
Yep. You need to remind me during Halloween. We need to watch They Live. I've never seen it with Roddy Piper.
Okay, it's a great movie.
I know it is. Halloween. Speaking of that, we're gonna do horror classics, Universal monsters, the Warriors. Another movie I have it on my list. During Thanksgiving, during Easter, I want to watch The Last Temptation of Christ. This was Martin Scorsese. It's one of his first movies after Raging Bull. I believe it stars William Dafoe as Jesus, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. And The Passion of the Christ. There's a sequel to Passion of the Christ coming out, I believe, in a year or so. Passion of the Christ 2, The Resurrection. And I've never saw The Passion of the Christ. I'm not a big religious person, so I never watched it, but I do want to watch it.
Christ?
I'm not
That's,
huge on religion.
that's one of those
so
ones that, like, it's an incredible movie, but you see it once, you're like, I'm good.
I'm gonna watch it though.
I look forward to
I know it's
hearing
gruesome.
You
Yeah.
report on it. Yeah.
And of course, probably one of the watches I'm excited for is 28 Days, Weeks Later, to get prepped for 28 years later. So, because I love Cillian Murphy, and it's got him in it. So, very very jam packed year. We knew it, especially adding all that Superman stuff in there. It's going to be a bi-weekly Superman load to your face, neck, and chest. So, be excited for it, because we are. And with that being said, an hour and 10 minutes in, let's get into the news. And it's not a news segment, it's a trailer roundup. We got a brand new trailer for Happy Gilmore 2. Whole cast coming back by the looks of it, except for Chubbs, rest in peace. And his grandmother's died in real life too, not too long ago. Yeah, very excited. We saw the showdown of of Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore at the end of the trailer. So I'm pumped up for this movie. It comes out on Netflix sometime this year. Also got the full trailer for A Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which comes out at the end of the month, like I mentioned, and I'm very excited. I like the animation style. It looks a lot like the 1960s comic book. And also the other thing that was announced was this is not connected to the MCU. It's MCU adjacent in another universe, I guess you can say. So it's not no connection to anything prior. Not even any animated series prior or nothing. It's all on its own. So yeah, I'm excited for that. James Gunn announced this was during Christmas, so this is a lot more since then. But in the first, I believe, was it first day? Had 250 million views and million social posts for Superman. Yep. 24 hours. Officially the most viewed and most talked about trailer in the history of both DC and Warner Brothers. But yeah, he thanked everybody for that. And yeah, I'm excited for the movie. We're going to talk ad nauseum about it, but we always talk about how much we love that trailer. So, First week we were gone the box office. Sonic 3 won actually both weekends. First weekend 62 million. Second weekend 38 million. Mufasa also won number 2 that first week and second week for 35 million and 37 million the second week. Wicked won the number 3 in the first week for 13 million. And Nosferatu was number 3 last week with 21 million. So Nosferatu is doing well. I don't remember where the Bob Dylan biopic was in that list, but I think it was like number 5, I think. But
yeah.
Wicked came out on digital on Tuesday. I've already watched it. Lots of bonus features, a sing-along version if you're up to that. I have it on my Vudu and Apple TV for people on the other side of this podcast who may want to watch it. A very good movie. I got very emotional towards the end of the movie, especially, like I mentioned, when I watched it in the theater. Slow slog getting through the beginning of the movie. Very musical, what you'd expect from a musical. But seeing Cynthia Erivo's performance in that movie again just brought me to emotion. Like, she blows it out the park, and I really want people to see this movie. I want you to see the movie too, and give your. Although I don't know.
I'll see it before I do my top 10.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it's very, very, very good. Rest in peace to Bert.
Yes,
the reptilian star of Crocodile Dundee, the crocodile. He was 90 years old. Crocodile Dundee, huge with Paul Hogan back in the 80s. Second one was good. Third one was crap. But the first one, it was one of those movies I always had on. I always had it on VHS or somewhere. I was always watching it. It was always on TV too. Rest in peace to John Capodice. You don't know him. You don't know the name, but you know him from.
Hey, that guy.
Yep.
Was he?
You know him as the cop.
Was he Dumb and Dumber?
He's the cop from Ace Ventura. You're close. He was the cop that worked in Ace Ventura that Ace Ventura was having fights with in the precinct. Okay. That was Tone Loc was always trying to protect him from.
Picture reminds you of the guy that eats the hot chili pepper and dies of a heart attack in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh no, yeah, that guy's still alive too. I can't. Okay. I don't know his name. He's another one of those character actors. But this guy died. He's 83 years old. Rest in peace to him. And my favorite news probably of the whole entire vacation while we were gone, the movie that Christopher Nolan's making is going to be The Odyssey. Finally been revealed. It's going to be a mythic epic. It's going to have epic shots across the world using brand new IMAX technology. Homer's Odyssey, which we just talked about. We were talking about Circe in Creature Commandos and how that's based off of the Homer's The Odyssey. And sure enough, this news broke that movie with a huge fucking cast. We got Tom Holland. We've got what's her name? Anne
Hathaway.
Robert Pattinson, Zendaya. Like it's huge. The cast for this movie. So
yeah, I wonder how he's going to do this in less than 7 hours.
Right,
big story to tackle.
Yeah, it's an epic story. So, Netflix has this weird mandate for their movies that they want directors to come in and make them so people can easily be distracted and be on their phone while they're watching the movies. That's a weird way of filmmaking. I was hoping you might have saw that and have your opinion on that too, because
it's fucking awful.
Yeah, it's a bad precedent.
okay, we're gonna sign you up because we like your pitch for this movie, X, Y, or Z, but you have to make sure that you can write it so that people that are too dumb while they're watching on with their phone in their hand can understand it if they look at their phone because of fucking TikTok. Get the fuck out of here. I do not like this. I do not like this at all.
It's just dumbing down. It's just dumbing down the audience, dumbing it down for the audience, which is stupid. Rumors are that there's gonna be a new Power Rangers movie reboot coming out, a complete reboot of the whole entire series coming out on Paramount. Don't know much about it other than little leaks that came out. Jared Leto has been cast as Skeletor in the Masters of the Universe movie. I cannot believe this movie's being made. But yeah, he's probably going to lose a ton of weight and be a natural Skeletor, just all bones. So, big news came out while we were gone. Blake Lively, this movie, It Ends With Us. I did want to watch it last year. Never got to it. It's a romantic comedy, I believe, a romantic drama or something. Blake Lively and this guy, Justin Baldoni, who I guess was an asshole off the set, and Blake Lively actually went and sued him, the director and the co-star, for sexual harassment. And more stuff came out of it this week that Ryan Reynolds went to the guy and yelled at him and confronted him over it. So big, huge brouhaha. We heard the stories. There was stuff going on behind the scenes, but now there's an actual lawsuit, and I believe he's countersued. So it's a big chess game now. James Bond movie reportedly on hold over the shared universe with Prime and MGM Studios. From what I hear, you may know about it a little bit more too, but from what I hear, Amazon Prime wants the shared universe aspect of James Bond, and I believe the Broccoli's don't. Is that what you kind of got from
Essentially, yeah. They're just creative differences between Amazon and the Broccoli's. Even down to who they're going to cast the next Bond. I think there's issues there. That's not the extent of it, though. I mean, you covered it pretty much what it is. They want to do a MCU-like Bond universe. Have different 007 agents and do TV shows and spin-offs. They're looking. And the Broccoli's don't.
They're looking to cash in on their investment. I mean, they bought MGM Studios. Bond is right up there with the highest property that they bought.
Probably it has to be the highest property.
Yeah. So yeah, they're looking for a return. So
yes, they're looking for their return on the investment, and the Broccoli's have been. I mean, they've basically owned Bond since the beginning. Saltzman owned the rights, and then he partnered with the Broccoli's, and Broccoli's have owned it since Saltzman left. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think they should take some time off after the Daniel Craig stuff, even though that's crazy. That movie came out like 2021, and there still isn't any news about the next Bond.
But it's the first time. It's also the first time. Spoiler that they killed Bond at the end.
Yes.
So they kind of do need the break between movies, I would say. Robert Eggers, we talked about him earlier, reportedly eyeing to be directing a Labyrinth remake movie. Don't want to see it, not without David Bowie. But we always talk about public domain on this show, and two properties entered public domain I want to talk about. Popeye, which is the reason why we're getting the horror movie, and Tintin, The Adventures of Tintin comic book, which is great. There's a Steven Spielberg animated movie that came out like a decade ago.
That's actually
very good. Yeah. Very good. Both are entering public domain. Mickey Mouse, his first talking appearance, also entering public domain, and as well as Mickey wearing the gloves. So, and I believe, 10 years from now or a little bit less, Superman's going to be in public domain, so that's going to be interesting. Entering public domain next year, Mickey's dog Pluto, Nancy Drew, and Betty Boop. So, not a lot next year, but interesting. And like you mentioned earlier, in Dexter Resurrection, James Remire has pretty much announced that he's going to be in Resurrection. Awesome. He went on Instagram.
I wonder if Deb will not be on it. Yeah, he does look a little disheveled. I wonder if Deb will not be on it, and he'll take over the inner voice again.
Right.
I really wonder how that's going to, or if it could be him and Deb, and they could have interactions, because you didn't see a lot of interactions you saw no interactions with him and Deb in the original show, so I wouldn't be surprised if, as ghosts, they're interacting.
Do we know? We know what we've heard on the show from Dexter. We know that his father supposedly committed suicide.
He overdosed on pills. Yes. heart
Do you think
medication.
Do you think that's really what happened, or do you think we're gonna find out in this show what happened to his father?
In
Real,
Resurrection
truly.
or in
No, in
Original Sin?
Origins.
Original Sin?
Original.
I assumed that the last episode will be his death. I've assumed that since the beginning.
Yes, that makes
but then
makes
again,
perfect sense.
Michael C. Hall has also said that they do plan to have multiple seasons,
Okay,
and they have
interesting.
since the beginning, if the show does well. But they could still
Right.
kill him off. Thing that's been confusing me about this show is there's no Captain Matthews yet, right?
Right, you're right. Yeah, you're right about
And
that.
he was very good friends with Dexter's father the years before Dexter's father passed. So I wonder if he'll be brought into the end of the show and they won't kill his father off yet, because it's that big case they show in like one of the flashbacks, like season 7 or 8, of Matthews coming over to console his dad after they let one of the killers go.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
My speculation has always been that that's not how Harry died. Ever
Right.
since I saw that, I think he was murdered, and there's a lot going on in this show where that could happen. So,
Yes.
James Wan is rumored to be in talks to direct an R-rated Last Ronin. That's the Ninja Turtles movie.
Yep.
James Wan's a good director. I cannot wait to see that.
Yep.
Let's talk about swag.
Swag. Stuff we all get.
Come on, son. You know that's right.
Nothing's more swag than this. It's shelf worthy. Fucking this diorama. I don't have no idea how much it is. It's Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fighting on Mustafar, and
Insert
Darth
the
Vader.
shut up and take my money meme.
Yep, looks awesome. We got one part of the statue. You got Vader bowing to the Emperor. You got the other part of the statue is Vader when he's talking to Luke. He's about to cut his arm off, or he's already cut his arm off. And we got the Death Star in half of his helmet. Looks really fucking cool.
Yeah.
The other thing, I saw a couple of Superman ones I wanted to bring up to you. They have this comic book run that they're doing. These are acrylic glass cased Funko Pops with Cyborg Superman. Looks really cool. And this one, Max Fleischer's Superman. This is coming out as well. A deluxe box set with a whole bunch of pictures, a whole bunch of figures from the series. So it looked really, really cool, including Superman and Clark then changing in a telephone booth. It looked really cool. Big news while we were gone, which I know pissed a lot of people, including you, off. The Batman 2 has been pushed to 2027, the whole year, shifting. Reason being, the script is not complete. And there's a Tom Cruise movie getting that date, so they switched places.
And apparently, I've heard that Matt Reeves is going through some personal issues.
Right, that's what I've been hearing too.
I do think he's getting divorced. I think that's known to the public.
That would make sense. Okay.
So that's could be why this is taking so long. Plus, Pattinson signed up to film the Odyssey. So maybe they just realized they can just push it a year, and hopefully the studio will be up and running by then. They still need
what's that?
Superman,
6
Peacemaker,
years?
Supergirl to be a hit. It's 5.5 years from the original one.
5.5. Okay. And yeah, James Gunn defended that on Threads, talking about the distance, saying 5-year gaps are more fairly common in sequels nowadays. 7 years between Alien, so on and so forth. Also, 6 years between Guardians 2 and 3.
Well,
so
I mean, he was kind of fired for making
and
that
fired and fired
that movie
again.
was supposed to come out like 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
So some of the examples he used weren't exactly the best examples. But honestly, that's something he shouldn't have to defend. I just think he did it because he wants people to know that it's still coming.
Yeah.
I think that's why he defended it.
Andy Muschietti, who's directing The Brave and Bold for DC, talked about it being delayed, and then James Gunn debunked that this week as well.
You can't delay something that doesn't have a release date. There was also an interview that wasn't in English, so words may have been crossed.
Yep. During, I believe, New Year's, Jason Momoa went on Instagram.
Worst kept secret in Hollywood. We've known this
Worst
for
kept
3 years.
secret. We knew he was a fan for the last decade of Lobo, the character from DC. And sure enough, he has been officially cast as Lobo in the DC universe.
Yep. So that's
James
one
Gunn
more
even
person
James
from
Gunn
the
even
DCEU.
posted this on
Yes.
Instagram. So,
One more person from the DCEU that is no longer supported by Snyder fans.
yes, there is a
Imagine
war. There's a war going on Twitter, people. You have no idea. Follow James Gunn tweets and look at the comments. You'll see the war.
Yes.
It's all war against him. We got a new poster during the holidays for Fantastic Four.
That's a
Happy
dope
holidays.
I still hope this gets pushed to like November. I just think that'd be the perfect
not.
like lead in. I want Superman to breathe a little bit more, and Fantastic Four would be the perfect movie for Thanksgiving. You get
I
a
don't think
solid
it's going to be
4
pushed.
weeks, 5 weeks. I mean, Snyder's reporting it is, but he's also very hit or miss.
Right.
So, because I won't have time in July to see it anyways, I'll have to wait for streaming. So,
Yeah. Andrew Garfield says he's not cast in Spider-Man 4, which we now know is false because he's a liar who lies in every time he's talking to the press about not being in a Spider-Man movie. So, yeah, he's probably in it. The Sony Pictures CEO, Tony Viniscara, whatever his name is, right before the holidays, he went on there defending the failure of Madam Web, saying that Madam Web underperformed in the theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film. Madam Web was the worst movie of last year.
it was pretty
By
bad.
far. It was horrible. He also claimed that they have to rethink their strategy for the Spider-Man spin-off movies. If we put another one out, it's going to get destroyed no matter how good or bad it is. It's not the case. It just... Number one, you don't have Spider-Man in a Spider-Man spin-off movie. You cannot do that. That's the biggest critique from every fan, including us. He's also puzzled by Craven's flopping so hard. He doesn't understand because the film is not that bad of a film. It's the studio's worst launch in 7.5 years. It's the worst launch they've had in the Sony movies. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad they're taking a break from that, but we'll actually see if that comes to place or not. Excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse, and of course, excited for Spider-Man Noir. So, and finally in news, we get the first picture. Spoiler alert of the leader. That's the promo art for Captain America: Brave New World. The guy coming back who was in Incredible Hulk, coming back to play the leader, continuing that story when the serum hit him. Comic book accurate head, trench coat looking guy. So yeah, that's it for the show this week. Next week, show and tell. We're gonna have a Christmas aftermath, all the stuff we got each other. Episode 7, Skeleton Crew, the penultimate episode. The finale of Creature Commandos next week. Dexter episode 6. On Max currently, if you want to watch the archive, if you want to torture yourself. AEW, now streaming. Watched it on Wednesday. Shitty show. The best thing they have is MJF, and he just did a 3-minute promo.
I saw somebody on Twitter post. They go, "Why would they put the old AEW stuff on there when it's 10 times better than the new AEW stuff?" It just makes the product look terrible.
And also the show's intro, which I need to talk about because I could not believe it when I tuned in. This is the first wrestling I haven't watched.
That's gonna be their intro going forward. Like
I know it is.
That's their intro.
I haven't watched wrestling in a decade because I haven't had cable. I cut the cord a decade ago. This is the first time I've watched wrestling in a decade on streaming. And they opened the show to the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited. It was so out of place watching the wrestlers fighting in the background. A lot of people are blaming it on Kenny Omega. I don't know who to blame, but there's somebody to blame, or one of Tony Khan's coked out binges. I don't know what it could be, but it's so out of place. But the one thing I am excited for is with this news, Netflix took on Raw. The archive of the Raw Vault is on there. I don't know if you've watched some of it, but there are 12 seasons in and out of the Attitude Era. Some of that 1993 and 2001
like
stuff, some current stuff.
Are they moving everything over to Netflix, or are they keeping stuff on
eventually? Eventually, some of the stuff is staying on. I think that the pay-per-views are still on Peacock until like 4 or 5 years, 3 years. I can't remember when the deal ends, but starting on Monday at 8 p.m. if you want to watch, Raw will be streaming for the first time on a streaming service on Netflix. And they'll be on there, and I'm excited. I'm going to be watching it Monday night.
I can break up Raw throughout the week. I don't have to watch it all at Monday night. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I won't be watching it probably till Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You can watch and fast forward the segments you don't want to. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm very excited because it's going to be like a homecoming to Raw. There are going to be a lot of stars in there. And of course, we're in WrestleMania season. We're the Royal Rumble coming up, so there's going to be a lot of setup for this.
Rumor
is the perfect time of year to do it.
Because John Cena is doing his retirement tour soon, so it might start Monday.
Yeah, it's going to start Monday for sure. He's going to be there. So thanks, everybody, for listening. And we are looking forward to this next year, and hope you are too. And we will talk to you next week. Peace.
Later.
We're the Geek Blurb crew, here to enlighten you. Talking all things geeky, from movies to wrestling to our podcast is the place where you wanna be for all the latest news and nostalgia from the 80s and 90s. We review comic book flicks and sci-fi hits, riding the wave of action movies with all the cool bits. From Iron Man to Star Wars, we cover it all. And when it comes to wrestling, we never drop the ball. Geek Blurb, we're the kings of the nerds, rating movies and pineapples, our opinions never blur. Join us each week for a geeky chat with the latest scoop and a dose of nostalgia at that. So if you're a fan of the comic book craze, or a lover of sci-fi and all its maze, tune in to Geek Blurb, we're here to entertain, bringing you the best in geekdom, it's our domain.